जी, अस्सलाम वालेकुम वरहमतुल्लाहि वबरकातुहू। उम्मीद करता हूँ कि आप अच्छे होंगे और ठीक-ठाक होंगे। रोज़ाना की बुनियाद पर हमारा एक नया एआई सेशन होता है और एक नया टॉपिक होता है और हम एआई से चाहे वो हमारे पास चैट जीपीटी हो या उससे हम डिस्कस करते हैं उस टॉपिक के रिलेटेड। तो आज हमारे को टॉपिक है उसके ऊपर हम डिस्कस करेंगे। तो सबसे हम पहले सेशन चैट जीपीटी के पास होते हैं। और जो हमारा अमन अमान के हवाले से जो टॉपिक है उसका बात शुरू करते हैं। सो हेलो चैट हाउ आर यू?
हेलो। मैं बिल्कुल ठीक हूँ, आप कैसे हैं? और हाँ, बिल्कुल, आपके मौजू के हवाले से बात करने के लिए तैयार हूँ। आप अनमिदार के बारे में क्या ख़ास बात या सवाल डिस्कस करना चाहते हैं?
ChatGPT, today this my topic and related some question and uh, I hope you explain. So my first question: how does poor law and order situation affect country and development?
That's a really important question. When law and order break down, like through rising crime, political instability, or corruption, investors get nervous, the economy slows, and basic services like education and healthcare suffer. It really undermines trust, both locally and internationally, which in turn stalls development.
ChatGPT, it's already a major causes of law and order problems.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's often a combination of things: economic inequality, weak governance, sometimes even external conflicts or political instability. Once that cycle starts, it's really hard to break out of it because it shakes people's confidence in the system. So it really has this ripple effect on development overall.
Why do young people get enrolled in crime and violence?
Exactly, yeah. When people feel unsafe or feel like the justice system isn't working, they often resort to crime out of necessity or frustration. And then once that cycle deepens, the whole social fabric weakens. Trust breaks down, people disengage, and development really just hits a wall. So it's a huge consequence.
Does does political instability, wars, and law and order? How? Explain.
Yeah, so political instability is a big driver. When governments are unstable, like if there's frequent leadership change, corruption, or power struggles, law enforcement often gets caught up in those tensions. That means laws aren't enforced consistently, impunity rises, and people lose faith in the system. And all of that just fuels crime and unrest, making it even harder to restore order and grow the economy.
How effective is the police system in preventing crimes?
That's a great point. A strong, well trained, and transparent police system can be really effective. When people trust the police because they see them as fair, responsive, and accountable, they're more likely to cooperate. But if the police are seen as corrupt or ineffective, then crime can spike because there's no real deterrent. So it's all about building a system that's both fair and consistent.
It's social media increasing hate and violence.
Yeah, it really can. Social media can amplify extreme viewpoints, spread misinformation, and create these echo chambers that fuel anger. So sometimes a small event gets blown up and people respond with real world violence. It's a double edged sword, really powerful for connection, but it can also be a breeding ground for hate.
Okay. Okay. How effective it is?
Yeah,
Uh,
exactly. Tough balance for sure. On one hand, social media connects people and gives a voice to those who didn't have one before. But on the other hand, if it's misused or unchecked, it can really fuel division and fear. So it's something we have to be mindful of as a society.
okay. It's social media increasing uh, hidden values and discuss. So how does poor law and order affect and the economy?
Yeah, that's a big one. When law and order break down, it really shakes investor confidence. Businesses hesitate to invest or expand because they're worried about theft, corruption, or even civil unrest. So overall economic growth slows down. Fewer jobs, less innovation, and a harder time reducing poverty. So it really goes hand in hand.
Okay. Does employment increase crime rates and why do people lose trust in the law?
Yeah, absolutely. When people feel like they don't have stable jobs or economic opportunities, they can turn to crime out of desperation. And when trust in institutions erodes, like if people feel the police aren't protecting them, they disengage. That loss of trust just fuels a cycle of both crime and social instability. So it all kind of feeds into each other.
Why do people lost trust and the law and Pakistan day by day? A situation of the Pakistan according.
The law and order situation in Pakistan is quite complex right now. For instance, armed attacks and terrorism have increased significantly. In 2025, incidents were 4 times higher than in 2022. Despite efforts in parliament to address this, the justice system remains weak, with ongoing concerns about human rights and inconsistent law enforcement. So, overall, trust in the system is declining in many parts of the country.
Okay. Can your education system help improve law and order?
Yeah, it really can. A stronger education system plays a big role. When people have better access to quality education, they get more opportunities, they understand their rights, and they're less likely to fall into cycles of poverty or crime. Plus, when young people grow up valuing justice and civic responsibility, that can change the culture long term. So, education really is a foundational piece.
So, okay. Uh, can
Exactly.
does corruption increase law and order problems?
It definitely can. When people lack education, they might not see the long term consequences of crime, or they might not have the tools to navigate the system legally or peacefully. So, in a way, poor education can create a kind of vacuum where people feel left out or left behind, and that can escalate instability and crime.
Okay. How does trust and law?
Yeah, so trust in law and order is really crucial. When people believe the system will protect them, they're more likely to follow the law. But when trust breaks down because of corruption, bias, or just lack of fairness, people disengage and sometimes even resist authority. So restoring trust is really a cornerstone for long term stability.
Does corruption increasing and order problems in Pakistan? What is main uh, causes?
The main causes of law and order problems in Pakistan include a lack of balance between military and civilian institutions, weak police structure and lack of public trust, religious and ethnic tensions, poverty and unemployment, and an ineffective judicial system that delays justice and fosters impunity.
How does religion extremism affect peace and society?
Yeah, it's really impactful. When religious or ethnic extremism takes hold, it divides communities, erodes trust, and often sparks violence. That instability not only hurts everyday peace, but it also pushes people away from development. So, addressing those tensions really is essential for peace and stability.
Okay. Uh, can strict law completely eliminate crime?
I wish it were that simple, but no, it can't completely eliminate crime. Law alone sets boundaries, but crime is often linked to deeper issues like poverty, inequality, or lack of opportunity. So while a strong legal system is critical, you also need education, economic development, and community programs to really reduce crime in the long run.
Okay. Uh, how do law and order problems affect ordinary citizens?
Yeah, it really hits ordinary citizens hard. When law and order are weak, people live in fear and they can't go about their daily lives. Businesses close, kids can't go to school, and basic services suffer. So it's not just an abstract policy issue, it really affects everyday safety and well being for regular people.
Why are crime against women increasing day by day?
Yeah, I get that completely. It's really disheartening to see how fear of crime can just grow, especially when it feels like nothing's happening to stop it. I think a lot of people share that sense of frustration, and it really calls for both better governance and a stronger sense of community resilience.
What is the relation between terrorism and law and order issue?
Yeah, there's definitely a link. When extremism spreads, whether it's religious, political, or ethnic, it often destabilizes law and order. Extremist groups can create chaos, target minorities, and undermine government institutions. So it's kind of a vicious cycle. When law and order break down, extremism can fill the void, and that just makes everything worse.
Why are crime again does during once law order problems abounds?
Yeah, that's a really crucial connection. During times of war or conflict, law and order just break down. Institutions weaken, police and justice systems get stretched thin, and often people feel desperate or pushed to crime out of survival. So wars really create a vacuum where criminal activity can surge, making recovery even harder.
Okay. Uh, does the does delay and justice increase crime?
Absolutely. When justice is delayed, like if court cases drag on or impunity takes hold, people lose faith in the system. That frustration can drive them toward illegal means, either out of desperation or because they see no other option. So, swift, fair justice is really key to keeping crime in check.
How does Pakistani justice increase crime?
In Pakistan, the justice system plays a big role in affecting crime rates. Research shows that only about 5 to 10% of cases lead to convictions, which makes people lose faith and feel that crime is a low risk option. The court process is slow, resources are limited, and as a result, public trust declines, which in turn increases crime.
How dangerous is a cybercrime today in the world?
Globally, cybercrime trends in 2026 are evolving rapidly, driven by AI powered attacks, such as highly personalized phishing and deepfakes. Hackers are also targeting supply chains, hitting third party providers, so multiple organizations are affected. Identity attacks are rising, with data breaches reaching 55% in 2025. Overall, cybercrime is causing billions of dollars in damage, and many businesses remain unprepared.
Okay. Do global powers sometimes interfere in law and order issues?
Yes, absolutely. Global powers can sometimes get involved, whether overtly or behind the scenes, through things like political pressure, funding certain groups, or even cyber operations. This kind of interference often destabilizes a country further, and it can complicate efforts to restore law and order, because local institutions get caught in bigger geopolitical struggles.
How does poor law and order affect children's lives?
Yeah, it really does. When law and order are unstable, children are often the most vulnerable. They might not have safe places to live, they can't go to school regularly, and they grow up in this environment of fear. That can really limit their future opportunities, their mental health, and their sense of security as they grow up.
Okay. Can you please talk help reduce violence and crime, and what role can religions leaders play in maintaining peace, and does a weak family system increase crime?
Yeah, that's a great point. Religious scholars can really be powerful voices for peace, especially when they promote values like justice, compassion, and tolerance. At the same time, weak family systems can make a big difference. If families aren't strong, young people lack guidance, support, and a stable foundation. So, both peace talks and a strong family structure are really crucial in preventing crime.
Okay. So my next question: how do law and order problem affect investment and the country?
That's a really key connection. When law and order break down, investors get nervous. They worry about risks like theft, corruption, or political instability. As a result, they often pull back or postpone projects, and that slows down economic growth. So, a stable law and order situation is really essential for building investor confidence and long term development.
Okay. What is the most important thinking of rebuilding peaceful and society?
I think one of the most important things is building trust between communities, between citizens and institutions, and across different groups. Once trust is restored, people feel heard, valued, and safe, and that opens the door to dialogue, reconciliation, and long term solutions. So, trust really is the foundation of peace.
Okay, so then everybody thank you and just topic it later in this session and give me more information and explain every question and
Of course, I'd be happy to break it down for you step by step. Just let me know which parts you'd like to dive deeper into, or if you'd like a full detailed explanation of each question and its implications. What's the first one you'd like me to expand on?
some last points and this topic related.
Sure. So, to sum up, when war breaks out or there's ongoing conflict, law and order tend to collapse. Institutions weaken, crime rises, and people feel unsafe. That makes rebuilding peace really hard. So the key is stabilizing security, restoring trust in institutions, and giving people a sense of safety so that communities can recover and thrive again. Let me know if you'd like to unpack any part further.
ओके, अल्लाह हाफिज़।
बिल्कुल